Hello, genealogists. This is Craig, and this is Just Genealogy. So many years ago, I had the opportunity to have an archivist provide me with some information for a talk where I was talking about the Record and Pension Office. This was, probably 20, 25 years ago. And I really didn't pursue it very much. I did the talk. It was short, it was sweet, but I had this nagging feeling that I just didn't have enough stuff. And recently, I was reacquainted with one of those documents when I did a talk on the Record and Pension Office for Legacy. So if you want to do a deep dive on the Record and Pension Office, which I'm sure most of you probably don't even know of, it's the office of Colonel Fred Ainsworth, the guy who brought us compiled military service records. There's all kinds of good records in there, and the talk at Legacy will cover that. But one of the things I was reminded of was this Civil War soldier who got a Medal of Honor long after the war, which made no sense to me. Recently, I was able to get copies of some records relating to this soldier from the Record and Pension Office. And I thought what I would do today is to share with you the circumstances, share with you what was found, and share with you what wasn't found. So let's go ahead and get started. So what we're going to talk about is the application for a Medal of Honor in the case of this individual. His name is Charles Stacey. He's from Norwalk, Ohio, and he got the Medal of Honor for gallantry at Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, July 2nd, 1863. So he's applying much later than that. This is an application for Medal of Honor of a new design in rosette. This means that he already has the Medal of Honor, and that largely because Congress revised things in about 1896 due to widespread misuse and copying of the design by non-military organizations. And they wrote into law at that point in time some procedures for the medal. The suspension ribbon was changed, and a bow knot rosette authorized that could be worn in the place of the medal. Basically, what was happening is people were saying they had the Medal of Honor when they didn't. I can remember a few years back somebody getting caught wearing the Medal of Honor that he didn't earn. And basically, it was a way to get free drinks. The government back in 1896 saw that this was a problem. He had gotten, it looks like, the medal the 23rd of June of 1886. So let's see what we have. So the person we're talking about is Charles Stacey, and he's a private, Civil War, Company D, 55th Ohio Infantry, and he gets his medal for action on 2 July 1863, which was at Gettysburg. And basically, he voluntarily took an advanced position on the skirmish line for the purpose of ascertaining the location of Confederate sharpshooters, and under heavy fire held the position thus taken until the company of which he was a member went back into the main line. And we do have a picture of him. And the additional information that we have about him was he's from Huron County, Ohio. He lived. It was presented 23 June 1896. Although he was born in 1842 in England, he died in 1924, and he's buried at Woodlawn Cemetery in the mausoleum in Norwalk, Ohio. But let's look at the records. Now, these records were found in the Record and Pension Office. And you can always recognize records from the Record and Pension Office because they have the habit of serializing everything. So here we see that there is this number 770846. Well, this is the 770,846 document that they were playing with. And you'll see that they actually are playing with this document 11 February 1904. So this is being done after the fact. This file is being created. And so here is a copy of one of the rosettes Now, this is, I believe, the old Rosette, in that he's turned in his old Rosette, and he turns it in with a copy of the newspaper article. This tells him that there's going to be a new one that's more distinctive, and it's a 5-pointed star, and it talks a little bit about the medal, and that Congress has been asked to appropriate the sum of $1,200 to provide for the manufacture of 3,000 medals of the new design. And there's other paperwork in the file. There are actually several files here, and this is the one that we found that little piece of information at. Notice the RNP number 770846 matches what was on the back of that card. And there are letters inside the file where he talks about him getting the medal, and he talks about getting the new rosette. And these go on for a little bit. And notice we've got his signature there. And again, everything in that file has that number on it. And then we find that there's another file, and that it's filed with, and it's 4399973, and it's filed with 352856. And this is what you call a reference card. So we go a little further into the various files that there are, and this is one from 1896 also. And notice it says with 52856. He talks about him being in the skirmish lines in Gettysburg in order to establish where the deadly fire from the Confederate sharpshooters was coming from. And he talks about how often he's made application for the medal. And then there is information from the Secretary of War, which says that he is being presented this medal in 1896. So in the application for the Rosette, here we see the Secretary of War providing direction to the Record and Pension Office to issue him the medal. And he talks about, again, in another letter here is talking about, and it's more specific than the previous letter, because he talks about firing 23 shots in the meantime as the company was able to get back into position and maintain their lines. He talks about several individuals who are aware of what he was doing. He talks about him being in the service for over 4 years, but none of them related as much as this dude to saving his comrades' lives. So what we have is detail that you really won't find anywhere else. And here we actually have a map of where he is and where the ridges are and what's going on, where the 55th Regiment of Ohio Infantry is on Cemetery Hill and its relationship to Gettysburg and the railroad line. And he talks about men being killed, 7 men killed and 35 wounded, most of them in the line where they crossed the ridge. So basically, you can see the skirmish line on the map. And basically what happens is he stays there in the skirmish line and fires as his regiment comes back to Cemetery Hill. And a little bit more. And a little bit more. And a little bit more. And then we have more and more. If you want to pause and take time to read these, if you're interested in this kind of stuff the way I am, you probably will take the time to do that. And more. And then we get to the point where we have people. This is Sergeant Mesnard, who is his sergeant, and he's describing the circumstances at Gettysburg on the 2nd of July. And then here's another file where this is the R&P version, where they have converted his letters into a citation, recommendation, and citation for Charles Stacey of Company D, the 55th Regiment of Ohio Volunteer Infantry. And this is what's being sent to the Medal of Honor Board. And the verbiage continues with affidavits from George Bailey, George Palmer, J.A. Brown, and Charles Stacey himself. Office shows that he, in fact, enrolled and mustered into the service, that he's actually truly a soldier in the 55th Ohio Infantry. He also was captured at Gettysburg as part of this process and was confined in Richmond from 1863 and paroled in 1863. So he was in Richmond from the 21st of July until the 22nd of September. He mustered out of the service 19 October 1864 by reason of expiration of his term of service. And there are affidavits from Palmer and Brown, who were also captured on the 2nd of July. And then First Sergeant Luther Mesnard reported 31 August 1863 absent sick. George Bailey reported 31 August 1863 as present, and Captain Charles P. Wickham has reported 31 August 1863. Basically, what the Record and Pension Office has done is prove that the people who have affidavits are in fact who they say they are and were involved in it as they said they were. Then we have a memorandum for the Record and Pension Office where we have the actual, this is a onion skin of the actual document where the Secretary of War directs the issue of the Medal of Honor to Charles Stacey for his action on 2 July 1863. So that's a fairly complete file. And if you have a Civil War soldier who got a Medal of Honor, you may be able to find in the Record and Pension Office that kind of information. But maybe you don't know whether your soldier got the Medal of Honor or not. Well, there is the Congressional Medal of Honor Society. It doesn't just deal with the Civil War, it deals to today. So everyone who has received the Congressional Medal of Honor or the Medal of Honor is basically part of this society. It was founded in 1958 to honor the sacrifice and inspire the future. And the society's membership are just those who wear the medal. It's located on the USS Yorktown CV-10 in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. There have been awarded 3,536 medals of honor, and we're approaching, I guess, the 250th, little over 250 years of there being a Medal of Honor. I enjoyed Charles Stacey. I hope you did too. It's just a slight nuance dealing with the medal in 1896. And you can see, if you go to the Congressional Medal of Honor website, you can see the various medals that were issued over time. Glad to be with you today. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Please tell your friends. I appreciate it. So this has been Craig, and this has been Just Genealogy, and I'll see you soon.